A quick question, Sam. When I
Yeah.
speak, can everyone else hear me as well?
Yes, someone told me they could hear both of us. Miriam said
Yes,
she
yeah.
could hear
Mariam
both of
says
us. Right.
yes.
And now Jason is confirming it, and so is Carly, and Jasmine's confirming it. So, yes, we can both be heard. All right, everyone. As you can see, or hear, I'll say, Sam here. So, a welcome to you all. Good on you for coming to this session. And just to let you know that the session is being recorded and the recording will be made available. I don't know how that works, but it'll be made available anyway. All right. Okay, so look, I'm going to just go through this outline with you. We've just done the first item, which is the greetings, etc. I'm going to be using the whiteboard quite a bit, so there'll be a bit of housekeeping for the whiteboard. Then we'll get on to the two main topics for the today's session, which are the parameters and topic narrowing. Two very important things to make sure that you don't that you're focused and you don't wander off onto tangents and have too superficial a investigation. And then the YouTube links that I've referred to throughout this will be made available to you. Okay. And I think that's probably it. So unless someone's got some questions, I might get started with the whiteboard and the housekeeping. All right. Okay. So now what do I do here? Okay. Share the whiteboard. Okay, everyone. Look, what I would like you to do is just make sure that you are able to use the tools. So if you look to the top left corner of your screen, you'll see an arrow, which is a select one. You'll see a pointer, you'll see a pencil, you'll see shapes, and you'll see text and something to clear. So if I click on the clear, look what happens. There you go, you're all cleared. So I wonder whether I can get you to all click on the text button, and having clicked on the text button, write something. So having clicked on the text button, write something for me. Oh, well done, everyone. Look at you. Okay, good. So you can use that. Now, what do I do to clear it? Well, I just click on the clear, the eraser sign. Okay, good. All right. You want to muck around with the shapes for a minute? Click on the shapes, choose rectangle, ellipse, or line, whatever you like, and have a go at drawing on the whiteboard as well. Excellent. Ooh. Okay. Well done. Good to see that all this works. Now, I'm going to curb your enthusiasm. The clear button is the one on the far right. It looks like an eraser. And I'm going to click on it now. Oh, someone's already clicked on it. Thank you. Then we've got the pencil. If you want, you can, here's me playing with the pencil. Can you see this blue line going everywhere? Okay, good. Okay, don't worry about it, Jeff. No problem. We just need to familiarize ourselves with all this. And Jeff, you may have missed it. My confession is that this is only my second time with Collaborate Ultra. So we might have to exercise a bit of patience with this presenter. Okay, let's erase all this. Who's that playing with it? Okay, erase all this. And while the whiteboard is here, I just would like you to brainstorm the word parameters, okay? This word here, this parameters. What does parameters mean to you? Just anywhere on the whiteboard. Good, okay, limitations. Anyone else? Great, okay. Wow, excellent. So we've got limitations, boundaries, specifications, okay. Is anyone familiar with the word perimeter rather than parameter? So the perimeter is a boundary. So for houses, for example, the perimeter, I suppose, would be the fence all around the house, that type of thing. Okay, so it's limiting the, the boundary, I guess you could say, measurable factors and so on and so forth. I wonder whether some people have been looking ahead, but no problem. Excellent. All right. Okay, so we're getting a clearer idea about what parameters are. Why do you think, look, I'll just clear all this for you here. Why do you think, and you can just brainstorm this, why do you think parameters are going to be necessary in an assignment like this? Why do we need parameters? In other words, why do we need boundaries or limitations? Focus, not bad. The topic is too broad, yeah, okay. Anyone else? Just throw them in. Context is relevant, go overboard, specific. It's so open-ended that students can end up anywhere. Okay, good. All of those are spot on. Okay, and I'm focusing particularly on the top left-hand side one because the topic is too broad. That's correct. Any topic you choose, whether it's our environmental sustainability topics or any other topic, volumes can be written on it. But we are limited in the first instance in assessment 1 to a particular number of words, and in assessment 2, which is the report of your investigation, I think the limit is 2,500 words. So you have to be very selective and narrow the topic down suitably so that you don't go everywhere. As someone saying, you can end up anywhere because it's open-ended and so on and so forth. Someone else has said you can go overboard and you might even go outside the context, the relevant context. Okay, so that's, we've got a better idea now of what we think parameters are, and we can understand why there is this need for parameters in our assessments. By the way, have you been told, or have you by now worked out that it looks like we've got 3 assessments, but they're actually one big assessment. And each assessment, assessments 1, 2, and 3, is actually a different phase of the investigation or the inquiry process. Okay, whoever created this unit, I can't remember the name anymore, has been very clever in doing that. Okay, all right, so let's continue here, shall we? I'm going to now erase and clear all this and share something else with you. Okay. All right. What I would like now is we've looked at and asked ourselves about the meaning and the need for parameters. Here are some definitions that I've come up with, or not, I haven't come up with them. I've been able to find them all over the place. Okay, so I've got a definition from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the Cambridge one, a couple of online ones, and so on. So look at the Merriam Dictionary. Those of you who've said limits and boundaries are correct. Well done, everyone. And just look here to the use of it in a sentence. Okay, the investigation, or in your case, the inquiry, stayed within the parameters set by the court. Whoops, that's not your inquiry. This is what happens in the law court. Okay, but even when, law courts are another way of inquiring, and you do have to set parameters to keep the focus. Cambridge tells us that it's a fixed limit. I think someone says that. Okay, and in the examples in a sentence go. The researchers must keep within the parameters of the experiment. Okay. The central office sets or establishes the parameters that guide policy at the local level. Okay, well, I won't be setting your parameters. You have to do that yourself. All right, now, those of you who do some online searching might come across this technical explanation of what a parameter it is, and I've crossed that out because that's not what we're after. Okay, but I do like the sentence in which it appears. there are 3 parameters by which a speaker is able to modify the meaning of the utterance. So this particular speaker wants to talk about utterances. Utterances are a very wide topic. You can write volumes on them. But in this case, he's limiting or she's limiting it to these parameters. They're going to talk about pitch, volume, and tempo within this wider topic of utterances. Okay, now, let me just go back here. Good. Now, finally, we're getting to the end of the meaning of this. We're looking at, it means limits, boundaries, something which defines the scope of a process. In this case, you need to narrow the scope of your inquiry. Okay, another example, the parameters within which the media work. And here are the various synonyms that some of you came up with earlier on. Framework, a variable. We're not really interested in that so much. A limit, boundary, limiting factor, limitation. I think you get the idea, okay? And for you students must set or identify the parameters of your inquiry. Okay, well look, I'll just pause there for a minute and see if there are any questions about either the meaning of parameter or the need for parameters. Okay, no questions there. Thanks, Caroline. Good, okay, great, Jeff. All right, well, in that case, what I would like to do now is to move on to a particularly good example of the way a student in a previous study period went about communicating to their readers what their parameters were. So let's just move on to the example. So we've done the definitions. Oh, by the way, if you want more advice on parameters, I would suggest you're going here, and I will provide this this URL link later on as well. Okay, so this is a particular good place for you to go because it talks about research papers, which is what we're doing, and it gives you further suggestions about what to include in your parameters. So this is a good place to go, all right? But I said we're going to look at a student example. So let's move on to the student sample here. Okay, so let me just read it to you. The research, oh, by the way, can you see where it says topic, 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 topic? This is where I've had to redact the actual topic, okay? Because I know what's going to happen. You're all going to copy, which isn't so bad really, I guess, but I didn't want you to be distracted by this particular student's topic. And because some of you are doing the same topics, it may have unfairly advantaged some of you. So let's have a look. The research area of this project will focus on topic, concentrating on 4 key elements. The unsustainable negative effects of topic on the marine environment and humans. The problem with wastewater treatment systems, distribution of topic in the marine environment all over the world, and steps taken to halt production of topic, including challenges of cleaning up current accumulation of topic. Okay, excuse the poor reading there, but while we're looking at this, here are some questions for you. Okay, firstly, can you identify the words which signal to the reader that this paragraph is going to be about the parameters? Which words signal that this paragraph is going to address the parameters? Okay, now, oh, I love that. Excellent, whoever did that. Well done, all right. Okay, now, having done that, this is a particularly good piece of writing because it not only signals to the reader or the audience that the paragraph is all going to be united around the idea of the parameters, but which word in the signal or the transition signal actually indicates how many parameters. I'm asking you this question because I like how very specific it makes this. No one? Thanks, Caroline. Okay, we'll see. By the way, I'm going to. Yes, all right. Okay, which one word? All right, let's move on. Good. Okay. Now we know that there are going to be the writer has signaled that there are going to be 4 key elements or 4 parameters or 4 limits or whatever word you want to use. Okay. Can you tell me, indicate which the 4 are? Which are the 4? Okay, I'll give you just a bit of time and then I'll show you the solution to this. Oh, by the way, although this looks like a paragraph, and it is, it's really a statement and would come at the end of an introduction. So with you, for example, you would start off with introducing the broader topic and then maybe give a bit of background information. And eventually at the end of your introduction, you would narrow down to this statement. Wow, look at all this. This is amazing. Okay, well, let's compare that with this. There you go. So let me see, can I indicate? Yes, here we are. Okay, so here is the signal to tell, or the signpost, to tell the reader or the audience what is going to follow. It's very specific in the number, which is great. Okay, and it doesn't use the word parameters or anything like that, but you know, it uses words similar to that, key elements. And then you can see that each one is quite clearly communicated to the readers, right? Okay, now, are there any questions to there? I'm going to ask you one more question about this before we move on. Okay, all right. Now, what's the question I wanted to ask? Oh, yes, have a good look at this. And can you see any reference at all? Remember, this is supposed to be about sustainability and the environment. Can you see any reference at all to those concepts in this statement? Good, that deals with sustainability, environment, good. And I think environment, does it occur somewhere else? Good, yes, environment, okay. So this student has been very explicit and made very clear that the focus of the inquiry is all about sustainability and environment. Okay, and that's why I consider this to be a particularly good example of conveying to your readers or your audience just what the focus and the direction of your inquiry is going to be. And as I say, this comes at the beginning in the introduction to your work. You'll begin with a broad signaling of the topic and then maybe give some background information or some interesting information as you narrow down to a statement like this. And straight away, it's clear to the audience where you're heading. And best of all, I think, it locks you, it makes you focus on just the parameters that you've identified. So as someone said earlier on, you're not going to go all over the place, you're not going to be too broad, and you won't go off on tangents. Okay, so Any questions there before I move on? Okay. Oh, Jason, thank you. I think you've told someone that there are 4. All right, let's move on, shall we? Okay, all right. Now, another way of ensuring that you don't go all over the place and that you're not too broad is narrowing the topic. And this usually appears as a title for your inquiry. Okay, what you can see here in front of you is an indication of the problem and a limitation on the scope of the inquiry. The next thing that will keep you focused and in the right direction is narrowing down your topic, and that's what we're going to look at now. Okay, so narrowing down the topic. All right, now listen, I've chosen global warming as a topic because we know that you cannot do global warming as your topic. Okay, it is far too broad, far too controversial, and we have deemed it, or rather the unit coordinator has deemed it, unsuitable as a topic. Okay, that's the first thing we need to know. That's why I'm doing it this way. All right, so, but the broad topic, as you can see here, is global warming. And as we keep saying, this is far too broad. You could write volumes about this, okay? And we can't write volumes. We're limited to a certain number of words. So, having selected the topic, we find that it's broad. We need to start the narrowing down. Okay, so here's the broad topic, global warming. And we brainstorm or generate keywords to help us. Now, it is very useful to use what we call WH or question words, although how is not a WH word, never mind. So you can ask yourself how, when, who, where, and why. And then within each of these, you can become even more specific, even more narrow, to look at each of these aspects of it. And once you've selected your specific words for narrowing, you can actually form a research question, research title, or even the problem statement, I guess you could call it. So here's our very broad topic. We have selected, we're not going to limit ourselves to who, and in fact, it's probably not relevant at this stage. But when, here's the time frame of when. So we're narrowing it down to when, in terms of narrowing it to place. This person has decided the United States, of course. The why is the overconsumption, and the narrowing down to the how is looking at fossil fuels. So the research question or problem or statement comes down to how will overconsumption of fossil fuels affect global warming in the United States by 2025? And you can see how much more focused this is compared to the original broad topic of global warming. So we've gone from a broad topic to asking ourselves questions with a view to narrowing it. We've made selections within each one, and finally formulated what they're calling a research question. I have to confess to you that I'm not really happy with questions when it comes to the title of something. Okay, it's not very common in academic writing. And so, look, you're not going to lose marks, but see if you can actually provide a statement rather than a question. Okay. Annie, you're going to have to narrow yours down. Good, I'm glad you found out now. And Bree as well. Okay, but this is part of it. Look, this whole thing is to teach you how to go about inquiry-based learning and teaching. Okay, so it's all part of the experience. Don't worry about it. Okay, you'll get there. And don't forget, after you've submitted assessment 1, you're going to get feedback to keep you or move you or nudge you back into the right direction. Okay, so do we have any questions there that haven't been answered? If you've already approved our topic. Okay, look, you'll notice, Emily, that when I've said, look, your topic is okay, I have also said things like you need to be specific or try to formulate a problem statement using about 12 words or so. And I've also said your ultimate choice of topic, you have to be practical here, is going to come down to what recent credible sources you've been able to identify to support and inform your inquiry. Now, for assessment 1, we're going to be looking for 3 of these sources. For assessment 2, which is really not a different assessment, it's just a report of your actual inquiry, we're going to be looking at 10. Okay? All right. Any questions? Any other questions there? No, Mariam, I'm not saying you have to make it a statement. I'm just saying that, generally speaking, in an academic context, mostly you'll find these things set out as a statement. You're not going to lose marks if you frame it as a question. I'm just telling you what happens in this genre of writing, if you like. Okay. No, it's not too late to edit. You know, you can go on doing what you need to do or think you need to do based on the feedback you're getting from your tutors until the actual time that you submit your work. Okay, all right. Good. Now, just give me a second because I've lost track of thought. Ah, yes. Okay. Now, I wanted to share some links with you. I'm now going to give you the links of the videos that I'm hoping your tutors will share with you on the discussion board, and which you can look at yourself in your own time as many times as you need afterwards. All right. Okay. It's okay, Emily. Don't you worry about it. No problem. Okay. Now, what I need to do is go back to here. Share the whiteboard, get a couple of text boxes going. Okay, now, let's see. All right, the first one is the link address for the video on parameters. Come on. There's that one there. Okay, you can jot them down if you like, but I will try and send these on to you. Actually, maybe I can actually put it in the chat. Let's see if this works. Can anyone tell me if that's a hyperlink and actually leads somewhere? And in the meantime, I'll get the other one to the narrowing of the topic presentation. Copy the link address. Okay, and if I put that here, thanks, Emily. There. Okay, thanks, Michelle. I'm glad that it works. And I think there was one other one somewhere. But anyway, look, never mind. It appears that if I put the links or the URLs in the chat, they end up being hypertext, which leads you somewhere, which is great. Okay, all right, well, let's get back to this. Okay, so everyone, we've met, we've done our housekeeping on the whiteboard, we've looked into parameters, topic narrowing, and the YouTube links. And that hasn't taken an hour at all, which is great. Questions from anyone? Okay, Miriam, question? Jason, what are you saying yep to? To me, you want to ask a question or you're talking to someone else? Probably you're chatting to someone else. Ah, you have a question. Okay, Jason, let's hear it or see it. Solutions to the topic. I'm not sure what you mean, Jason. No, I'm still not with you. Changing approaches, changing laws. Jeff, do you know?
No, I'm not quite sure where Jason's coming from there.
Oh, Jason, I think I know what you mean. Because we've used the word problem, you're thinking problem solution, is that it? Like filters in washing machines. Okay, so filters in washing. Ah, okay. Look, when for the first assessment, no. The first assessment you have to realise is your proposal. What you're saying to us is, this is what I propose to investigate. This is what I propose to look into or inquire about. Then we'll provide you with feedback, after which you can go on to the actual investigation or the actual inquiry. Now, the inquiry has a section, or the report that you will write up about your inquiry has a section about the conclusions and the implications that you have arrived at as a result of your investigation. And that is where you can provide solutions to the problems that you've been talking about. So, Jason, does that answer your question? Ah, good. Okay, that's it. So, yes, I'm not sure that everyone appreciates. The first assessment is, it's called a project plan. This is what I plan to do. And I'm going to submit it to you so that you can assess it and evaluate it, give me feedback. And then once I've got that, I'm going to go on my merry way to do the actual investigation. And having done the investigation, I'm going to report it in 2,500 words according to the pro forma that we've been given. Where would you say outlining your parameters? The parameters usually come at the beginning, Sarah. Okay, so at the beginning you've got usually an introductory paragraph or introductory few words. They will announce the wider topic to your audience. Then you'll probably give a little bit of background information. And what's happening is you're narrowing all the time until you get to the end of your introduction. And that is where you'll indicate to your audience where the parameters go. That's the most usual place. Okay, Mariam, now in the VOCI, you're just providing us with 75 words, I think it is, of an overview of your topic. Okay, look at your pro forma. If you go into the A1 resources folder through the assessments link on Blackboard, you'll see the pro forma and it'll have the headings under which you will submit your work. So the VOCI is only part A, I think, of the first assessment. Okay, and the bit that you hand in is the pro forma as well. Miriam, just 1974 makes me a bit nervous and uncomfortable. I'm not totally sure what you mean, but see if you can come up with something current, or maybe the figures you're talking about started in 1974 and are still going on. Okay, So Miriam is saying the data is available. Okay, look, I think run this by your tutor. I'm not your tutor, am I? I don't recognise the name Ross, Miriam Ross. Okay, and see what they've got to say. All right. Okay. All right. Well, it's 9:35. My topic is the influence of derelict fishing gears on sea life in Northern Australia. Perku, I'm not sure what's happening here. Let me just look at that. The influence of derelict fishing gears on sea life. I don't see anything to do with environment or sustainability in that statement. I can just see a reference and a focus on animal species. Are you going to look into sustaining the animal species, or are you going to look at environmental sustainability? Okay, look, there's no problem with introducing or using animal species in your work, providing you can show how they link into or tie into environmental sustainability. Okay, because the survival and the sustainability of some animal species does in fact have a direct influence on the environment and its sustainability. But you shouldn't go off on a tangent to look at only the sustainability or the survival of animal species without reference to the environment. Elidamar, deforestation is very broad, but you'll notice, let me have a look here. Narrowing. Okay, so what you're saying is you've used deforestation. Okay, so not global warming, which you're not allowed to use, but yours is deforestation. Then you want to, it's very broad, narrow it down using these questions to yourself and possibly a few of these subheading things like this, or something of your own, and then try to come up with a statement which is less broad. Okay, Elidamar, I hope that helps. Oh, thanks, Sarah, that's good of you. Okay, okay, Carleen, thank you very much. Okay. Can mind maps include questions rather than statements? Oh, yes, I can't see why not. I think maybe you're referring to my lack of fondness for your problem being stated as a question, but that's all it was, just a hesitation on my part. Carbon release and greenhouse gases. Look, you can, as long as you don't wander onto global warming, Elidamar. Okay, it needs to be something specific. Just have a look at what we've done here to narrow your topic and word it in about 12 words or so and submit that to your tutor to see what feedback you can get. Oh, well done. Thank you, Marion. Jeff, that's great. Oh, good. Okay. All right. Okay. Look, we've still got 20 minutes left, but are there any other questions? Should we focus on national or can we incorporate globally as well? Bree, difficult to answer that question. I think if you can find, global is very broad. If you can find a specific example of it, which helps to convey to your reader what you mean, generally speaking, sure, okay. Good. Okay, but as I'm saying, look, do run all your ideas by your tutors first, okay, and get the feedback from them, all right? Okay, I thought, so global could be okay for the plan, but we could make it as,
Still too big, I think.
Yeah, look, I think it is too broad. You really do need to narrow down to specific places, times, and people, that sort of thing. Oh, Annie, I can never get used to that abbreviation. I just cannot get used to it every time I see it.
Your sense of humour, Sam.
I hate to think that what that is revealing about me, but anyway. I narrowed down to Australian marine life. Look, Miriam, again, with these species, I don't know what to say unless I can see your whole problem statement, because what we are looking for is a focus on environmental sustainability. Now, if you're going to be talking about Australian marine life, it's good because it's specific. It's Australian marine life. But you do need to demonstrate how the sustainability of Australian marine life impacts on environmental sustainability. Try not to make the whole entire focus about the animal species. Narrowing down again, yes, actually you can become too specific, okay? Look, you'll actually know whether you're being too broad or too specific. If you're being too broad, there'll be more than enough, an overwhelming amount of sources amongst which to choose. On the other hand, if it's too specific, there'll be many fewer sources to choose from. So if, for example, you've been so specific that you can only find 2 sources to support that, then you're going to have to broaden your focus a bit. Okay? All right. Anyone else?
I think that's a really good guide, that one, Sam.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Yeah. If you can't find enough sources, you're obviously too specific.
Yes.
If you do global warming, well, there's no hope.
Well, and also, we don't even need to think about global warming.
No, true.
Holly's ruled that out anyway. So
yes, good.
Yeah. Must say what that will do to the environment. Yes, a bit like that. Okay. So you've got your marine life, Miriam, and there's something about the survival or the sustainability of marine life which will have an impact, or as you say, will do something to the environment. That's fine. Okay, no problem there, because what you're really concerned about is the environment. And you're using your marine ecosystem, if you like, or marine life, I beg your pardon, to convey that. Okay. No, it is simple, Mariam. It's straightforward. It just involves concepts that you're not familiar with. That's all. And don't forget, the first assessment is a proposal. You're going to be getting, I think in the jargon we call it formative assessment. And you use the feedback on that for your main report, which is the second assessment. All right, so that's all it is. You somewhere, somehow, you're going. If you use the feedback, you're going to get there.
I think too. It's about this is about learning about how to inquire. So we're not expecting people to come in already knowing. So it's building
Yes.
building your capacity.
Yes. What you're learning here as future teachers is what we're calling inquiry-based learning. Okay, and this is what they've done in this unit is very clever, because it's teaching you about inquiry-based learning by actually giving you an inquiry-based task to do. Thanks, Bree.
Exactly.
See you next time. Good luck, by the way. 9 a.m. in Tokyo. I never saw that on our Z Maps self-introductions, but then you're not in my group. No problem. See you, Bree. Bye-bye. Okay, anyone else? 9 degrees in Tokyo. My gosh, not for me, thanks. Oh, thank you, Miriam. Well done. Brr to you too. Bye-bye, Bree. Okay, well, look, if there are no further questions, Jeff, do you have anything you want to add or say?
No, not at all. Just very good session, Sam. Very good.
Oh, well done. Look, thank you for coming along. Everyone, I'm going to wind down now. I intend to put those videos up on my discussion board, and I guess the other tutors will as well. And don't forget, there ought to be a recording of this session. I'm not really familiar with how that works, but if it's taking a little while, I'll chase it up. Okay, thanks, Jason. Good to see you. All right. Yes, you take care too, Miriam. Yes, Rita, no problems. Excellent, Emily. See you. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm going to end up saying goodbye to everyone.
Yes, well, thank you very much, Sam.
Look, no problem. Okay, I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, see you in the virtual world online.
That will do.
Okay, bye, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording now.